Part 1. My journey began May 2009 when I found out I was pregnant for the first time since my husband and I were married. I was 25 years old and so happy. See, I didn't think I was pregnant. I was talking on the phone with two friends and I remember saying, "There's no way I'm pregnant." They kept telling me, "Go to 𝕨𝕗𝓉 of all places and get a test." I laughed because I thought, shouldn't I get a more reliable test? They were like, "Girl, those tests work better than the expensive ones." So I went and got one, even though I felt like it was cheap. It only took a minute and both lines showed up, but one was faint. Of course, they were like, "See, you're pregnant." But in my mind, I was like, it's faint. I can't trust this cheap test. On top of that, I had begun to cramp and spot, so I couldn't be pregnant, was my thought. A few more days passed, and another friend got me, in my mind, a more reliable test. Basically, EPT. And this time, it didn't even take a minute, and both lines were bright as day, and I could not deny I was pregnant. I was like, oh man, I'm so excited. But that feeling would only last 48 hours. I booked a doctor's appointment, and my mother went with me. The doctor did a vaginal ultrasound and didn't say anything. That was a sign. Something is not right. After she confirmed it with another pregnancy test, she told me to go home and rest. Also to call her if I have any pain at all. She believed that I was having an ectopic pregnancy. That is when the fertilized egg implants outside of the uterus. I remember my brother coming over that night and bringing me a zebra cake. Those were my favorite at the time. I figured it was his way of saying I love you. If you know my brother, he is a man of few words and emotions. Unless he is schooling you on something he feels you don't know, which is just like my dad. He made sure to tell me that those pregnancies could be dangerous, as if I wasn't nervous enough. By the next evening, I went to my mother's house. She was cooking dinner. I was in so much pain, I couldn't even stand up straight. So we called the doctor's office, and they told me to go right to the ER. The doctor would meet me there. My mother drove me to the ER, and the whole ride, I tried to get in touch with my husband. He was at work. We arrived, and I was in so much pain I just knew this is not right. The doctor came in and explained that I needed surgery. He also stated that he was not for sure if I was having what was called an ectopic pregnancy. This was the first time I had ever met this doctor. See, I was one of the nurse practitioner's patients. Since she could not do surgery, he would have to be the one doing my procedure. I told them, I don't want to go to surgery until my husband gets here. Someone was finally able to get in touch with my husband. I remember waiting in the room with Tommy for them to come get me for surgery. The doctor came back in to ask if I was ready, and I said yes. Now, if any of you guys know my husband, Tommy is a character. So out of his mouth, he says, "Where is the doctor?" The doctor looks at him and was like, "I am the doctor." Just like that, it was all over. I was not pregnant anymore. And now I had this huge hole in my heart and my fallopian tube. See, the egg had attached itself to my tube. So in order for them to terminate the pregnancy, they had to cut it out, which left a hole in my tube. Waking up and realizing that what they suspected was true, I remember the instant sadness I felt laying in that hospital. By this time, I had experienced a lot in life, and my thoughts were, God is not real. And if he is real, then why does he hate me so much? The days following surgery were tough. Have you ever not been able to use your stomach muscles? Man, I could not even wipe my own self. I sat on the toilet crying because because I did not want to ask my husband to wipe me. Looking back on that, how silly was that? To top it all off, it was graduation time, and we had family coming into town. I remember feeling like my mother just wanted me to get over it because she had no time for this. There was so much to do with family coming. See, I was sad and didn't know how to pretend I wasn't. A few things will never leave me, and I am forever grateful for the kindness these two women showed me, and I'm not sure that they even know how much it meant. One friend sent me a card letting me know that she was there if I needed to talk, and she was sorry for my loss. That tiny card meant so much. She had also just found out she was pregnant just a month before me. I later even babysitted her daughter while she worked, which I believe was therapeutic for me. Then there was my cousin, and when she showed up for graduation and heard what had happened, she came in and took care of me, even helped me take a bath. I just had never felt seen like that before. Someone cared about how I was feeling. I spent the next year just wanting so desperately to replace the awful experience with a new pregnancy. I had no idea that it would be years before I would get pregnant again, and definitely not 14 years later writing this, and still no baby.
Hey, y'all, blessings and prosperity. Blessings and prosperity. How y'all doing today? Thank y'all for tuning in to Blind Faith Podcast. We'll be having one every Friday. Me and my wife would like to leave y'all with something. In the day of your most daunting endeavors, your most painful discouragement, and your greatest opposition, may you be a woman who leads like Nehemiah, undeterred from your purpose, unyielding in your integrity, and unceasing in your prayer. God bless you all. Remember, always believe and never give up.